Yellowstone National Park is a wonder of the modern world. Its beauty and majesty have made it one of the most popular destinations for nature lovers in the United States and around the world. But what if I told you that this beautiful place is hiding something very dangerous? There are actually two volcanoes at Yellowstone, and they're not exactly dormant. They haven't erupted in thousands of years, but scientists are now saying that there could be an eruption coming very soon. And it won't be like anything we've ever seen before. So make sure to watch this video all the way to the end so you don't miss out on any of the shocking details. Thanks for watching. Yellowstone National Park is located in the northwest corner of Wyoming, and is one of the most visited national parks in the United States with over 4 million visitors each year. It's home to some of the most iconic natural wonders, including Old Faithful and the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. But what many people don't realize is that Yellowstone is also home to a supervolcano. A supervolcano is a type of volcano that has the potential to produce an eruption of more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of material. That's about 240 billion gallons. If you're from California, you may be familiar with the La Brea tar pits. These pits were formed by the slow oozing of asphalt from the earth. Over time, these pits trapped and preserved a wide variety of animals, plants, and even humans. This gave us an unprecedented look into what life was like millions of years ago. But the La Brea tar pits are just a small example of the power of asphalt. In fact, there's a place in the world where asphalt is so thick it can trap entire forests. And this strange phenomenon has been happening for thousands of years. It's a mystery that has puzzled scientists for centuries, but new research is finally shedding light on how this bizarre landscape was formed. The result is a fascinating story of fire, ice, and the incredible power of nature. The first thing you need to know is that there are 3 different types of volcanoes: composite volcanoes, shield volcanoes, and cinder cone volcanoes. Composite volcanoes are the most common type of volcano, and they're also the most dangerous. They're the ones that we typically think of when we hear the word volcano. They're tall and steep with a central vent that leads to the magma chamber below. Shield volcanoes are also very large, but they're much less dangerous. They're created by the accumulation of lava flows, and they tend to be much wider than they are tall. Cinder cone volcanoes are the smallest, and they're also the most short-lived. They're created when fragments of lava are thrown into the air and they quickly build up into a cone shape. Now that you know the basics, let's talk about the 2 hidden volcanoes that are located right beneath Yellowstone National Park. The first is the Yellowstone Caldera, which is a supervolcano that lies beneath the park's namesake Yellowstone Lake. This volcano has been dormant for 17 million years, but it's still smoldering beneath the surface. In fact, in 1985, a series of earthquakes shook the region, and scientists believe that they may have awakened the slumbering giant. The Yellowstone caldera is so large that if it were to erupt, it would cover the entire park and much of the surrounding area in ash. The second volcano is the Norris Geyser Basin, which is located in the heart of Yellowstone National Park. This volcano is much smaller than the Yellowstone caldera, but it's much more active. In fact, it's the most geothermally active place in the park, with more than 10,000 hydrothermal features, including geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles. The Norris Geyser Basin hasn't erupted in nearly 1,000 years, but scientists are concerned that it could be due for an eruption soon. If it were to erupt, the damage would be catastrophic. So, why are scientists so worried about these volcanoes? Well, for starters, they're just waiting for the right conditions to cause an eruption. For example, if the magma chamber beneath the Yellowstone caldera were to fill up enough, the pressure would eventually become too much and it would cause an eruption. Or, if the Norris Geyser Basin were to experience a sudden increase in geothermal activity, it could lead to an eruption as well. Additionally, both volcanoes have been showing signs of unrest in recent years. For example, the Yellowstone caldera has experienced several small earthquakes in the past few decades, and the Norris Geyser Basin has been producing more steam and hotter water than usual. All of this is leading scientists to believe that these volcanoes could erupt at any moment. If these volcanoes were to erupt, the damage would be catastrophic. If the Yellowstone caldera were to erupt, the entire park would be covered in ash, and the surrounding areas would be evacuated. The Norris Geyser Basin, while much smaller, could also cause significant damage. The hot lava and ash would destroy everything in its path, and the pyroclastic flow would travel for miles. The nearby towns of West Yellowstone, Montana, and Idaho would have to be evacuated. And the damage to the environment would be devastating. But what's really terrifying is that no one knows when the eruption will happen. Scientists are constantly monitoring these volcanoes in order to predict when they might erupt. They use a variety of methods, including measuring the levels of seismic activity, tracking changes in the shape of the volcanoes, and analyzing samples of the gases that are emitted from them. However, even with all of this monitoring, scientists still can't say for sure when or if the volcanoes will erupt. This is what makes them so dangerous, because an eruption could happen at any time without warning. It's hard to believe that something so beautiful could be so deadly. But that's the reality of Yellowstone National Park. The stunning scenery is just a thin veneer over a bubbling cauldron of molten rock and ash. One wrong move and it could all come crashing down. It's a sobering thought, but it's one that we can't afford to ignore. We live in a world that's full of natural disasters, and we need to be prepared for anything. Who knows when or if the volcanoes at Yellowstone National Park will erupt, but when they do, we need to be ready. This is why it's so important to pay attention to the warnings from scientists and to take the necessary precautions to stay safe. Don't wait until it's too late. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. The next time you visit Yellowstone National Park, remember that you're standing on the edge of a volcano. The ground beneath your feet could rumble at any moment, and the beautiful geysers and hot springs could turn into deadly cauldrons of molten lava and ash. It's a scary thought, but it's one that we can't afford to ignore. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Yellowstone National Park is truly a place of contrasts. Its majestic beauty hides a dangerous secret. While visitors can marvel at its stunning geysers and hot springs, they should never forget that they're standing on the edge of a volcano. Should we be worried about another eruption anytime soon? Not necessarily. Eruptions at Yellowstone are rare, and the park scientists are constantly monitoring the area for any signs of unrest. But it's important to remember that nature is unpredictable and we should always be prepared. What do you think? Are you brave enough to visit Yellowstone National Park knowing its hidden danger? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos about the amazing discoveries in our world. Thanks for watching. See you next time.